Good afternoon, everyone. It's 4 o'clock, and it's time to commence the Heritage Kitchener Committee meeting for April the 4th. Thank you all for coming. To start, first item is a disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. So is there any conflict of interest declarations from any of the committee members? Seeing none, we can move on. Delegations, there don't appear to be any delegations for us today, so we can move on to the discussion items. First item up is the Heritage Permit Application HPA 2023 V002 for 17 Aaron Street West. Demolition and reconstruction of a porch, replacement of front door and 2 windows. And we have I believe 2 presentations on this, one from Jessica and one from Adam Jonkis.
Yep. Through you, the chair, Adam Jonkis is here just to answer any questions that the committee may have. I don't believe there's...
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Through you, the chair, he's here just to answer any questions that you have. I don't believe there's a presentation. I'm the only one providing a presentation on this application today.
Okay, great, thank you. So if you'd like to commence.
Thank you. Perfect. So 17 Aaron Street West is designated under Part 5 of the Ontario Heritage Act, and it's located in the Civic Centre Neighbourhood Heritage Conservation District. The proposed work includes the demolition of the existing front porch, the reconstruction of the front porch with structural elements including the decking and the stairs being comprised of AZEK, and the replicated decorative elements including the posts, railing system, and sunrise detailing being comprised of wood. Work also includes the replacement of 2 main floor front windows and the front door. When reviewing the merits of this application, Heritage Planning staff would like to note the following, including that the demolition of the existing front porch is required as the existing porch is in poor condition and it's not structurally stable. The proposed work is in compliance with the Civic Centre Neighbourhood Heritage Conservation District Plan policies and guidelines, and further, the work maintains the appearance of the home and there's no anticipated negative impacts to the integrity of the heritage character of either the property, the streetscape, or the Heritage Conservation District. And that concludes my presentation on this application.
The application wasn't coming up on my screen, so. Thank you. Are there any questions of staff for members of the committee? Councillor Chapman.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, when we look at the original porch, it's, you know, it's not just posts, it's quite decorative in design. Will the replacement be similar in design?
Sorry, through you, the chair, is this a question for staff or the applicant?
Well, I don't know, whoever.
You have a picture?
Okay, yeah.
Well, so the pictures that I see in the report, they're... Okay, so that's... Just the one that was completed in a, close to, in a different site, it's not the same, so...
Yeah, so the idea is that the design would be almost the same,
Okay.
except the railings would have to be higher for the building permit.
Okay, because it's kind of unique, it's
Really cool. We really love it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for committee members? So we need a someone to move a recommendation.
Motion for staff recommendation.
Do we need a seconder, or is one person? We need a second for that? From Councillor Chapman. Thank you. So now it's time for members to vote in favor of the recommendation. So I guess show of hands. So all in favor? None opposed? The motion is carried. So this motion received unanimous consent, so it can be processed under delegated approval authority following the committee meeting. So this does not have to proceed to council. Next up, we have item 4.2, the notice of the intention to designate 369 Frederick Street under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. And again, we have a presentation from Jessica on this item.
Thank you. So through you, the chair, I would just like to note that this is Deeksha's application. I'm just presenting on her behalf as she's not available at this for this meeting. So this is a notice of intention to designate for 369 Frederick Street under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. 369 Frederick Street is included on the inventory of historic buildings. It was built in 1993 in the international style of modernist architecture. It is located on the original site of House of Industry and Refuge, and it has significant historical, architectural, and contextual value according to the HIA that was submitted as part of a complete site plan application. Identified heritage attributes of this property include the scale and irregular massing of the 1- and 3-story building, including the entry canopy, the acrylic stucco non-load-bearing walls, the glazed and solid panel curtain wall sections, the pre-finished metal shed roofs, and the forming glazing in the administration wing, filling up the spaces with light and marrying the indoor with the outdoors. And I believe that concludes her presentation on this application.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee members for staff on this item? I don't.
So my question was, who brought forth the recommendation for the designation? Was it the owner, or is this something that we're doing on behalf of the city?
Through you, the chair, I believe designation was made a condition of approval for site plan, so it would have been brought forward by Deeksha, or the suggestion would have been brought forward by Deeksha.
Sorry, additional question. So there's a site plan application that is, has triggered this application?
Yes, that's correct.
Is the site plan currently under review?
I believe so. We do have the file planner here to answer any questions related to the site plan.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions? Councillor Chapman?
Well, just to Mr. Snyder, if you could give us some details about what's being proposed here.
The site plan is conditionally approved, so it's approved in principle. There are conditions to fulfill. It's an addition to provide long-term care homes. So it's a 4-story addition to the existing building.
Which would be on top of or beside, behind?
Beside.
Beside? And looking like this? Would it be compatible with the current structure?
That's what the HIA has purported, yeah, and that's what staff has indicated.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this item for staff? Seeing none, does anyone have a recommendation? Councillor Chapman? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That we support the staff direction on this one.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Thank you. Right, well, I guess it is time to vote. So all of those in favor of the recommendation? None opposed? Once again, it is unanimous, and this application will be processed under delegated approval authority. Oh, it says the application will not be processed under delegated approval authority following the committee meeting. If approved, it will go to council on April 17th, 2023, and that's despite the, and that's because of the site plan application?
Through you, the chair, that's the process that follows any notice of intention to designate. When we're considering designating a property, it has to go before council for approval.
Great, thank you very much. Next item we have is item 4.3, status updates, heritage best practices updates, and 2023 priorities, heritage impact assessment follow-ups. So are there any updates available from staff to share with the committee?
Through you, the chair, I'm actually hoping to get a bit of an update from you guys related to Bill 23 and the Municipal Heritage Register review work that we're doing. If we don't mind taking 5 minutes, I'd like to walk around and collect those file folders from you. I'd also like to hear anyone's thoughts on the field evaluation process that was completed, what your thoughts are on the amount of work assigned, if you think it was too many properties or too little, and any other comments that you might have on the overall experience.
Great, so we'll just take a minute while you collect our file folders. Thank you. Great, thank you. So that was round one of how many anticipated rounds of review for us?
This year, we're looking at doing 3.
3.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so were there any thoughts on how the process went? Any recommendations or things you think we can do for you to make it easier? Anyone have any thoughts at all?
That's great. So any comments?
Just a question. So we took pictures, 2 of the sites, but have they been submitted, the ones we took? Or how do we get those to you? Because they're not in the folder.
So through you, the chair, I'm intending on making a share file that everyone, I'll send the link around that everyone can put their photos into that share file. If you don't have access to Microsoft Office, if you could just let me know and we can figure out an alternative solution for you.
So that hasn't been set up yet?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, thanks.
Any other feedback on the process? Yeah.
I would just like to suggest maybe a change in the way the forms are formatted. It's really awkward kind of writing on a landscape kind of form. I think it would be a little bit easier if it was just more straight.
Thank you. Any other comments for staff regarding our review? Was it the right number to make it a reasonable size? It seemed like something that wasn't too overwhelming or too underwhelming. Seemed like the right amount. So without any other feedback, I guess we'll look forward to the information drop to be set up for the photographs, and then we can await round 2. So when will we have the next file folders for round 2?
So through you, the chair, we'll be reviewing the kind of summary statements or summary information that Deeksha and I put together on this current round in June, and then I believe it might be June, that same meeting, that we're assigning your new round as well. Sorry, if you can just give me a sec, I will pull up our timeline. So it'll be the June 6th meeting that will assign the next properties.
Terrific, thank you very much.
Peter? Peter?
Information items?
Can I just ask another question?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I think last time I suggested maybe we could try to work with the ACO on some of this. Has outreach been done to that organization to look at the data that they've already collected?
That is on our list to
Okay,
do.
because I'd hate to be repeating, like duplicating stuff that's already being done, right? So, and I know they were updating their work when they were working with students last year. So just, I think it could be useful.
Great. Any other comments? Laura?
Will there be the same number of properties to evaluate in the next round, or is there going to be more assigned?
It seems like the amount that we assign now is a comfortable amount or a manageable amount for everyone. So I think at this moment in time, it'll probably be the same. The number might change depending on how Diksha and I, like how fast or how manageable we find doing that additional research for all those properties. So we'll be able to confirm, hopefully at the next May meeting, whether or not that number will change at all.
Okay, and the next assignment will be in June then?
Yes.
And is there a meeting in July?
No July meeting, no.
So they would be due in August?
So I think, yeah, they would be due in August.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more comments for staff on the status sheets? None? Great. So we can move on to item number 5, information items. 5.1, memo on Kitchener Great Places Awards 2023 and the Heritage Permit application tracking sheet. Do we have any additional information on those items?
Yes, so through you, the chair, I did want to notify the committee that the Mike and Pat Wagner Heritage Award is commencing. The last time it took place was in 2019. There was a bit of a delay due to the pandemic, and it is now starting up again, or I think it has already started up. The Mike and Pat Wagner Heritage Award was established in 1997 to pay tribute to property owners, businesses, and individuals who have contributed to the conservation of the city's cultural heritage resources. It was named after former city councillor Mike Wagner, who served on city council from 1989 to 1997, and who was a strong advocate for heritage, cultural, and other conservation practices. The name was changed in recognition of the many contributions of Pat Wagner, who was also a longtime member of the Heritage Kitchener Committee. The Mike and Pat Wagner Heritage Awards are divided into 3 categories, the first being for preservation and restoration, the second being for rehabilitation and adaptive reuse, and the third being for individual contributions. In terms of the timeline for this award, the nomination period opened up March 22nd, so I think that was just last week or the week before. April 28th, our nomination period closes. The June 6th meeting is when the nominations are considered by Heritage Kitchener, and then their nomination recommendations go to Council June 26th. And I think additionally, we would just like to encourage you, members of the public and members of our committee are able to nominate any projects or people that they wish to.
Thank you. So anyone in the public is allowed to nominate for this award?
Yeah, the nomination forms are available online.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions in regards to this award process? No? Okay. 5.2, Heritage Permit application tracking sheet. Do we have any additional information on that item?
There's no updates.
Okay. Those are the items on our agenda. Does somebody have to nominate an adjournment, or can we just call for it? I can just say that it is adjourned. Great. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.